Okay, there's the old Suburban that brought us here to the east portal of the Hoosac Tunnel in Florida, Massachusetts. We are here and we have arrived. My cohort and I. First trip we're going to make about 150 feet south of the east portal. Gonna look for something really cool to show you. Stand by. Yeah, folks, we've arrived. We're here at the Hoosac Tunnel in Florida, Massachusetts. That's one stone. We are at the east portal, and I'll try to shadow this one out. Walt Rice, Boston and Maine, 146, 47 years, dedicated railroad man. Well, we have arrived at our first destination. We're here about 150 feet to the southeast of the east portal at the Hoosac Tunnel. This is what's left of the very experimental at the time boring machine that was attempted and tried and failed 10 feet in. This is the little room that goes down in there. Now, I must confess, I have seen videos of folks going down in there in the summertime. We're up here in the middle of January. I don't see any footprints, but we're gonna go look. Wow. I do see garbage. It's got a really funky smell. All right, well, I'm gonna turn you off and put this thing in my pocket, and we're gonna try to go in there. What do you think? All right, well, we put our big boy pants on and we're here. We are inside. This is, again, if you can see the curvature of the sidewalls, Terry. Look at the curvature. That's that is the result of the teeth marks of the boring machine. Right there. And we're not gonna lie, we took a moment or two to gather our thoughts before we came in here, because this is spot on the kind of place where Yogi and Big Bear would be bedding down for the winter, but neither one of them are in here. So again, today is what, January 30th, 29th, 2023, and here we are. A lot of folks have been in here in the summertime, and they've got bats and bugs and spiders and creepy things. But look at that right there. And it's almost like a drill mark. But, and here's another one. Here's another one. Yep, those are definitely man-made drill marks that quite possibly would have been put in there after the boring was completed. Yeah, well, needless to say, this is a cool spot, and it's just the first stop on our day-long adventure here at the east portal. Let's move on. All right, we made it back out. So this is typically known as the false start. It was actually a test spot where the quote-unquote Wilson's patented stone cutting machine was put to use and put to test. It started boring, but it only made it into the mountain a short way, actually about 10 or 12 feet from what I've read. So you can imagine the time, effort, energy, and money that was poured into this machine to complete this task, and they just kind of shrugged their shoulders and tossed it off as scrap. All right, let's go check out the tunnel. It's an old signal tower of sorts, and right now there's an old plywood sign that says danger, active rail line, no trespassing. We have been warned. So this is an active line, folks, and in case mommy didn't tell you, be careful. Be careful of trespassing. Be careful of getting hurt. Be careful of standing water. Be careful of rushing water. from now on till spring, that's all you're going to have is rushing water. Speaking of which, here is the drainage culvert that we were going to walk through today. We still may, depending on the actual depth of that water, but that water is probably a constant 36 degrees today, and I'm not sure I want to get any in my boots, so we may have to come back. But that's the drainage culvert tunnel that we were going to walk through on the east portal. So the east portal, the east tunnel here, from what I've read and gathered, this was actually an easier task than the west side. Now it goes against contrary thinking. This stone is actually harder and coarser, but it was actually easier to drill, blast, and yes, nitroglycerin to death. So they actually made quicker progress when drilling and boring and starting this east portal than they did on the west. Right there is your date, 1877. 1875, I believe I read somewhere, was the actual date of the first train to pass through this tunnel. 1877, I have to assume, is when it was 100% complete, including and not limited to this stonework, which I am in total awe of, by the way. This is just gorgeous. All right, we're gonna get our flashlights together and venture in. All right, it is a drippy, icy day. I think once we get past this ice, we will be okay. Yes, it does dry out. I've been somewhat hesitant to tell my buddy this side of the story. There's always a dark side. There's always a sad story in the construction of this tunnel, start to finish. Pretty damn near 190 souls lost their lives. So if you are at all squeamish or conscious of that type of talk and discussion and reality, maybe come on up and find your way to the mouth of the tunnel and don't go in any further. But we're probably 75, 80 feet in, and we are nearing the point of pitch blackness. Now, I do see what looks like some sort of a light up there. Do you see it, Terry?
I see something that's not white. I see something that looks like
a sign.
Could be a sign. Reflective. Or it could be some sort of a.
We just heard a noise up there. We're spooking ourselves. Hey, I'm going to turn you off for a minute. We're going to go in a little further and go from there. Yep, what you're looking at there is deep into the heart of the tunnel. There's some light. We're at the 416 mark. I'm going to spin you around and I'm going to show you that infamous, as they say, light at the end of the tunnel. We're walking back out. It is very dangerous in here, very icy today. So again, as I mentioned before, just before we came in, use your head, use extreme caution. If you're squeamish, stay home. I'll turn you off. Here we are on the way out. East portal. Well, we're going to walk a little ways further out to the trestle. And that'll be your next clip. We'll get back to you because I need two hands because we're on solid ice. Drill mark upon drill mark upon drill mark. Craziness. 1877. All right, we're walking east here, guys. We've put the tunnel behind us. That might be our spot right there. Look, footprints. We're gonna go over this trestle here over the Deerfield River and take a look to our left, which is upriver at the remnants and the remains of the old, oh, very nice at a now we are going to have to exercise caution here because it's tie, space, space, space. So we have to be careful walking here, Terry. But it looks like it held a vehicle. You all right or no? We're not quite sure about this. We cannot see the ties. So maybe out of caution today we'll call it quits here. Anyway, you get a feel for the trestle here. It is double tracked. Just the other side, it is double tracked because they do have waiting trains that must wait for occasionally a train to exit the tunnel before the next one can subsequently go through. Deerfield River, and that is the remains way down there. See my finger? Down in the woods down there. Let's find a spot and go down and check it out. Well, way down there, see my finger? Down in there, that's the east end of that culvert. And boy, oh boy, she's really running today. There's no way my half waders would keep me safe in that. And the water's probably a good solid 35 degrees today, and I'm not going in there. So we're gonna look for an alternative time to come back up here before the black widow spiders come back to life and after the water has stopped. Who knows when that will be. Right up there is the rail bed. There's our crossing signals. We decided to come down this green marked trail right here, and really cool anchor pin there. We're going through, I don't know, what would you say, 9 inches of snow? Just to give you an idea. Here's my hand. Here's my hand. And here's the hook. It hook's as big as my hand. That was put there a long time ago. The advent of an invention by a man named Burley greatly improved the hand drilling process being used to drill the tunnel. The Burley drill, as it was called, was a series of air-powered drills mounted on a wheeled carriage. The compressed air necessary for powering these Burley drills came from the compressor house, which was built right on the banks of the Deerfield River and powered by water from the river. A dam was built about a quarter of a mile north, and then a sluiceway was dug to run water down to the compressor house. The falling, rushing head of water ran those compressors, which in turn, through air lines run into the tunnel, to the drills, powered those drills. The compressors worked well, but when water levels were seasonally low, the efficiency of those compressors dropped greatly. In times of low water volume, they made steam, which greatly helped. The compressor building was huge. It was 4 stories tall. On the riverside, it was a wall of windows. The building burned in 1899 and was never rebuilt. The turbine pits, the rear wall, and some other aspects remain to this day. The riverside, or the front wall, collapsed and crashed onto the riverbank and into the water. As to the dam, the large side walls still remain with their old iron bolts and beam notches. The sluiceway is still there, although it runs through a few lots of private property, and we have to respect that, as I've always told you. Now, I thought I would quick run through this little explanation before you view our shots of wandering and discovering and guessing in regards to the ruins of that building and the dam and the sluiceway. It was kind of a great experience to find that stuff and put our collective heads and thoughts together and try to figure out what things were. After some research, which I just brought to you, it'll be kind of fun connecting the dots. By the way, the raised bed we were walking on and thought it might be the narrow gauge, it was the tailings pile from the digging of that sluiceway. It was not the narrow gauge. As to the narrow gauge, we're going back. We will find it, and we'll put it on another video. Stay tuned. Enjoy. We made it down. We are indeed almost at river's edge. There's the trestle we were rather hesitant to go over. And we are fast approaching the remains. Don't step on the green, Russ. Whoa! We're fast approaching the remains of what we do believe to be the power plant. Supplied electric to the tunnel from 1910 to 1946. How about that? That's the hands of man that built that, Terry. This is gorgeous. This would be a great hike on a, say, a spring day. Let's keep going. This beautifully constructed wall has got to be, how high is that?
It's probably about 22 feet.
22 feet. And it's got to be over 100 feet long. Right here on the edge of the river. Got a big man-made circular pit here. It's got some iron pins and iron bars in it down there.
Whatever they are, whatever those pits were, they're only about 4 feet wide. So
There's another one.
Saplings are in.
Another one there. And at least one more there, possibly two more. All in line. They were dead center of the building, if this was indeed a building. And they were dead center. We're going down in here. Hold your breath, kids. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this. This was not built in the days of hydraulic excavators with hydraulic thumbs, rubber tracks, and laser pointers. This was constructed back probably at or possibly a hair before the turn of the century, the 1900 century. Oh, yes, evidence of wood here. See it? See the massive beam right there? And that big rod right there, that through rod, that rod. Oh, listen. Damn it, we got a train. We got a train. Probably heard it. I would say he's out of the tunnel. He's out of the tunnel. We're gonna get him on the overpass. Here. There he goes. Norfolk Southern. He just came out of the tunnel. Yep. Boy, Mr. Terry, we got out of there just in time, didn't we? Well, it's train action nonetheless. I hope you can see it. We're on former Boston and Maine trackage, currently CSX. They still do see a mixed bag of engines on this line from CSX to Norfolk Southern. Not sure if there are, I am sure there probably still are Pan Am logoed engines. This appears to be mostly intermodal. It's coming east, headed east from points west, Mechanicsburg, Scotticoke, New York. This is a major line east-west and west-east, connecting basically upstate New York to the New England and primarily Boston area. All right, well, that old trestle, boy, she's still holding up good. Yep. All right. Well, I wish we were up top, but down here is better than nothing. I'm gonna let you go at the 2-minute mark here. Just as a quick point of reference, Mr. Terry and I were in that tunnel, I would say 20-30 minutes ago. The nose end of that train was probably just about nearing the west portal when we were still in there. And that's just an example of use your head. All right, the old train's gone. We're back down here, still on the site of the old power plant at River's Edge. And if you ever get a chance to come here, Florida, Mass, it's way down off of a big steep grade hill. This is for the history buff, for the train buff, for the lover of nature and outdoors activities. Boy, this is just a great kayaking and tubing and rafting, and probably in another month a whitewater adventure. All right, let's see what else we can find. We've got another one going westbound. Pretty awesome today. Here he comes. Now the rate of speed is going to be much less on this guy. Here he comes. It's like another NS. Yeah, looks like two. 69.58. What is that guy? Are those two U-boats? Southern engines, two modern graphics, and one old Warbird. Luckily we got some box cars on the front end blocking. This looks like a pretty mixed general freight as compared to the intermodal of the other one. I'm going to come down here at water's edge. Get some sun out of my eyes. Right here. That's better. Oh yeah, a little streak every now and then in between the box cars. Yeah. So this mixed freight train is entering the tunnel on the east portal, westbound for Mechanicsburg, New York, coming from points east. I would say, what, Terry, 10 minutes between the eastbound and this westbound? About a 10-minute span between these two. That's why it's double tracked east of here. Yeah. Maybe we'll find old Hobo Shoestring on this one. What do you think? I know he's been through this tunnel. There's a Hobo Shoestring shout out. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I'd say right now he's probably pushing through about 8 miles an hour. So at one point in time, the Hoosac Tunnel was double tracked all the way through. When of course trains were smaller, lighter, thinner, and keyword smaller. Now we got some, yeah, this is a general mixed freight. This is a local. A lot of these cars will be dropped off and spotted in yards. Scotticoke, Mechanicsburg, Albany, Troy. And maybe some of them will end up down in Selkirk. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. I won't bore you with any more. Not that you're bored watching a mixed freight bag here from the bottom with the streak of sun in between cars. I apologize for that. You know, you might have to wear your sunglasses when you watch this part of the video. No, I got a strober going on here. All right. There, way up there, is the exit of that drainage culvert. We were warned earlier to stay out of there because of the black widows, and I don't think the black widows are active this time of year. Definitely in July and August they are. Gorgeous spot. Whether this was a rail related spot or not, this is just a little slice of heaven right here. Can't see him now, but up past that island is a kayaker that put in, and that gives you one more little quick shot on the entrance ports. I believe there's 3 or 4 of them. Used to suck water in off of the river here and get processed through steam into electricity that got wired up into the tunnel. couldn't keep up with demand anymore as the railroads grew. Here's another anchor point. Just randomly placed. Oh, here comes the rafter. Let's see if we can catch him. We're getting a little bit of everything on this trip. Trains, planes, and automobiles. How's that? We are right down here at river's edge now. Here they come. Coming down. Rub-a-dub-dub. Hey, are any of you guys hiding from your wives? I got evidence. Here's the second inline series of turbine intake holes. Walking alongside the stone wall here. This gorgeous stone wall. Wow. What's in there? You guys see anything? A big iron pipe coming out there. You know, we see these things out here in the middle of nowhere. A lot of folks don't care. A lot of folks look at them and say, yeah, so what? Now this pit here, the third one in line, I'm gonna go on a gander here and say that's about 20 feet down. Let's see if we can get down there. The hands of man, well, built this. I almost went down. The size of that nut. You need more than a Home Depot crescent wrench to get that one off. Yep. It's kind of tough doing this one-handed. We made it. Icicles. Way back in there. Look at that arch. That's gorgeous. Look at that. So, water came in from the river. From there. And it came into these pits. And I don't know if it was, I mean, I'm no scientist, but perhaps some sort of a Venturi system where it would swirl and swirl in these pits. And I'm gonna try to get you down in there because I do see, yeah, let's get the light on. Yeah, remnants of an old iron pipe down in there. That goes about 6 or 8 feet, no, more than that, 8 or 10 feet back. So, stone, brick, mortar, iron built these, and wood. This was all framed. Now right here, dead center, it could quite possibly have been timbers that went way up and connected to shafts. And the shafts might have been what spun. But at some point there would have had to have been steam turbines in here. And I've yet to find that location. Coal. There's a nice stone. For all you stone lovers.
No, Russ,
This stone here
I don't know what you're looking at.
doesn't have much longer.
I see a straight hit on the outside there.
This lentil stone here. There's a nice drill mark. Another year or two, possibly, and this column is going to succumb to nature just like the last of them did all the way down through. But we have it on videotape evidence that it still existed. This is the corner of the building on January 30th, 2023. There it is. Just one more shot of the trestle over the Greenfield River. Such a beautiful day here. I actually had 2 moths fly up into my face when I was down in one of those turbine pockets. What the heck is a moth doing alive on January 30th in Massachusetts, up here in the Hoosac Range? I don't know. Global warming. Just one more quick shot before we leave. Just we're going to look at Terry there, and Terry's let's say give or take 6 foot tall, and we're going to go up, and we're going to go up, and we're going to go up, and we're going to go all the way up. This wall is just incredible. It's, he said originally 22 feet. It could be 25, 26 feet tall. It is just incredible. It's half the height of some of these big hemlocks here, and it was all built by human hands. We made our way precariously through the swamp and the spewage here to the backside of where we just were. I'm going to call this the west side of the ruins. Some mighty big stones in there, and again guys, as I say in a lot of my videos, these stones, some of those stones you're looking at there, they don't look like much on your computer screen, but they're 500, 600, 700 pound stones, some of them bigger ones, and they were just muscled in there with block and tackles and manpower. We're going to go on up a little further, but this is clearly a roadway. Now, wait a second. I'm going to turn you off here, because what I have to do is stand on my right leg, pat my belly, rub my head, and pull my left earlobe to remember something. Get right back to you. Okay, that tree right there is a dead ash, and I'm not about to lean on that one, but the one I'm on is dead, but it's very, very sturdy. And I am literally leaning over the edge to get you guys this shot. Look at that gorgeous stonework on that archway, and that's the river down there below. This building is just a stupendous example of what human hands can do with stone. I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but this is just gorgeous. All right, so a question for the ages. We are walking back south again. You can see our footprints. We have walked from the stone ruins right alongside the river, right alongside the Hoosac Tunnel line, north on this raised, what we've been calling the rail bed for the narrow gauge Hoosac Tunnel in Wilmington. Are we right? Are we wrong? Are we somewhere in between? We don't know at this present moment, but we will find out. So this is definitely a man-made cut and fill section. Cut coming from down there, fill coming from up here. This is about as flat of a gradient as you could imagine for a rail bed. And we did find evidence of a guy wire, although modernistic, it still is a guy wire, which told me that there were utilities on this corridor at one point. So anybody got some answers watching this video, let us all know. We're going back. Okay, I did not promise you, but I mentioned it, so I feel obliged to show you the standpipe. That clearly is modern day steel. This pivot is modern, but it was placed there for a reason. And I think this view here will give you a better idea of this fill section of what we're claiming to be the narrow gauge rail bed. We're heading south. We probably walked up a good half, 3/4 of a mile upriver, and then decided to turn around. So here we go. We came up the road, oh, little ways up, and we found evidence of telegraph poles, wire, and footings, and iron standpipes, and a sink. Is that a sink? That is a sink. That is an old cast iron sink. There's iron all over the place. Could this be the foundation for the station? We don't know. My cohort has gone to find a place to park the truck, but I do believe I found the river crossing. Yes, indeed, it's some sort of a sluiceway. I'm gonna go down. Okay, guys, we found the sluice. We found the entrance point for the water inlet from this river down through this sluice. And I'm 100 feet drop right here, so I'm going to be real careful. This is all man-made sluiceway right here, and that went down into the lower point of the trail we were walking on before that we actually thought was the rail bed. It was the rail bed, which is on the other side of the creek now. It crossed somewhere. I thought this was it. This is not it. This is the sluiceway that took the water down to that steam turbine power plant of sorts. The stone ruins, we'll call it. Let's look further. There's a throwback. Boston and Maine Corp. Concrete post. It says 6 tons for this old iron truss bridge. Terry's got his Suburban, he said, quote unquote, oh hell no. And I think if we had Sam the silver car, I would do it. What do you guys think? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we found our way to the west portal. We're almost there. There's the old brick structure that has been featured in many YouTube videos before. And we're on foot. Probably about a mile walk in from where we had to park. We just had a westbound freight maybe 10 minutes prior that we literally just missed. But I do know we're getting close. I recognize the stone wall here. I'll get back with you. Those 10 seconds of peace and tranquility brought to you by GoPro 10. Yes, yes. The stone retaining wall on the south side of the tracks leading up to the west portal. We're going to make this a quick one as the sun is setting behind our backs, and we need to be back home before midnight or we turn into pumpkin squashes. Lost Rail Beds channel is typically abandoned, lost, forgotten, long forgotten rail beds, rail lines, rail structures. So every now and then we'll throw in some old iron, some old concrete, and some old structures. This is an active line. 7 to 8 active, possibly as high as 10 active freights a day, every day on this line. CSX acquired it from the Pan Am Railways back in June of 2022. Not all that long, not even a year ago. So they are full well using it to the max. Back in the day, as they say, as many as 70,000 train cars a month utilized this line alone. West Portal right here, and I do have to get the date, and the date is not as easily accessible on this one because they have the iron and corrugated superstructure up and over the original stonework. There was a collapse here not too long ago that they repaired. The date is up there and I don't see it. You see it, Terry? Wow. This end of the tunnel is a lot more ominous, if you will. It's quite a bit darker, and it actually, if you look back west, it's got quite a sharp turn leading up to it. So if you were to go out on these rails and venture in a little ways, you don't have as much lead time on the lights of the locomotive coming up and sneaking up behind you as you do on the east side. The date's up there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I know it is.
See it?
Yep.
The other one had a raised platform that it was mounted to.
Yeah. Well, this side here has been heavily doctored over the years. All right, I'm standing right on the center line of the rails, and it is 1874. Right up there. West Portal, west entrance to the 4.75 mile long Hoosac Tunnel. Right here. Can you see the crescent moon? Almost a half moon. Here we are at the brick structure of the west side. And again, it's been a heavily photographed, videoed, documented building. Just thought while I was here, I would do the same. Not much to write home about. Again, I wonder if old Hobo Shoestring ever spent the night here. How about it, Hobo? Let me know in the comments.